the Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday book celebration. My name is Malika King Albrecht, and I am the founding editor of Redheaded Stepchild. And Rob, by the way, did a stint as an editor with Redheaded Stepchild with me. That was a lot of fun, Rob. Tonight, I'm super excited. I apologize that my video is not working, but a friend of mine from the way back, is celebrating his first book. Rob Vance is both a writer and a visual artist, and I still have some of his artwork. I was trying to see if I could find it today so I could show y'all. A late bloomer as a writer, his first 30 years were spent in the realm of visual media, while recently his focus has changed to writing. His work draws on his journeys as a runner, triathlete, husband, and world traveler. His written work has appeared in Atlanta Review, Hawai'i Pacific Review, the Hollins Critic, Poetry South, and Sports Literature. Rob holds an MFA in poetry from Queen's University of Charlotte. We love Queen's University. And a BA in creative writing from Old Dominion. Yeah, I guess it was undergraduate. I keep saying graduate because we did take some graduate classes together.
We did, yeah.
Rob, welcome. And I have put a link in for everybody to get a copy of Exercising Haunts. His first book was published by Main Street Rag, so that makes us brother and sister poets. Welcome.
Thank you, Malika, and thank you everybody for coming out to the debut of Exercising Haunts. I'll be reading some selections from it as well as some new work. But before I start, keeping into my persona, I'm going to say two outrageous things. First, I believe that poetry resides in the realm of spoken word and evolves to meet an audience or a poet's mood. And so do not be surprised when the written word is different from what you hear tonight or what you've heard in the past. Now, might this kill book sales? Well, yeah. And so the second remark I have is please consider purchasing this book, not for what you may have connected with tonight, but instead make this purchase to strengthen an independent publisher who is running with no grant monies, has supported diverse writers for the last 29 years, including many from Queens, like Len. You all, the folks that I know here know Len, and Old Dominion, like Malika and myself. So I'm going to take a beat here, and for those who now ask, when am I going to say something outrageous? You all are truly brothers and sisters from a different mother. Thank you. Without further ado, let me open with a new piece. Its title is its first line. That dream in which I am a winner is one of cycling downhill at speed. The rushing landscape brings focus to what I love. A whippoorwill racing against the wind no longer shouts out its location. Running hounds no longer bark and snap for their masters. The solitary barn I pass releases calves that fly out to pasture. This dream has always been one of velocity, never of gravity. That weight of our garage door when I finish this ride, the substance of the bike and helmet as I hang them, all lost with my return, and you never demanding a single answer. You know, it's good to be home. I'm enjoying myself in my studio, and I'm reminded that Basho is quoted as saying, "Every day is a journey, and the journey itself is home." But as we know, there are some among us that find difficulty in discovering that inclusion, accepting that inclusion, and this next piece meanders into that realm. It's a haibund. And so the prose ends with haiku. It's called Surviving Dawn. That morning, the cherry blossoms shone blue in police lights while a disabled vet begged at the hotel corner. I can't remember which friend texted me the question, why? She and I met for dinner the evening before. I ordered entrees that I had seen winning a round on Chopped, nodding her head as I spoke, the noise I guessed as why. Our burgers arrived, quartered and drawn apart in flower shapes, the sweet potato fries crossed up in ketchup like the letter Y. After a busboy dropped a tray, her sunny eyeshadow was tear-streaked with 2 slashes. I don't know why. The morning after, the horizon's sharp edge won't have me move beyond. The morning after, the horizon's sharp edge won't have me move beyond. There's something odd about time, be it too quick or too slow. You never know how much you have until that journey's done. And so maybe it's time to have a little fun with it. And this next piece is called Ode to My Fitness Watch. I'm pushed by pulses, a tickle like a fuzzy bee whose hive stacks and whacks the maps of my every step. Another buzz signals with precision the time to drink from some roadside fountain, eat something sweet in the floral outback. This watch is prescient of distant signs. Each whir and shimmer guides my way to a world of those really living, to a world of those who are their very best reflections in a bright watch face, each measuring breath for training effect or the hope of weight loss or a faster 5K, all reconciled with downloadable photos of actual athletes whose watches chain with mine like friendship rings. Oh, this band of the botherless, so heart aflutter. My watch checks my pulse as I run, waiting for that final alarm to sound. I'm longing for another, more honest me to showboat a large cappuccino and bagels with schmear to go. Yes, I have a love-hate relationship with my sports gear. Um, and apparently my current headset has this audio feature. And the first time it demanded that it needed charging. I was so shocked by the voice, I thought I had late onset schizophrenia. Such are the flight of ideas on my morning runs. And in that light, this is a contemporary sonnet called Exercising Haunts. It's, of course, the title piece of the book. The morning run continues my chat with a ghost, a fragrant shadow touched with hash browns or hamburgers. My world collides with his with some confusion, like our local drive-in morphing into a Sonic. I know my dad might be speaking, but some other lost relative could be too. Silly me. Passerbys will think I'm speaking on a cell phone as I stride, whispering in a wholly unimportant air, a daily exertion with the dead I name as family. Those who lurked in tin roof diners prowled unplumbed streets. This new year, will this gourmand shade tell me it followed a more cultured path? Could there be a place where words don't crumble like bacon seared dry, no questions breathed like eggs whisked in whiskey glasses? Some other parent might glare over a greasy fork, buttered knife, have answers beckoning second chances, but my hunger to understand love's subtlety is obvious. What if the world changes, really, with each table setting? What new words will subdue an exercise silent as morning dishes drying? And if my house were that quiet, but with pets and appliances and power tool armed neighbors, it never is. And I'm sure you can appreciate that. And somehow we keep our head and we keep motoring on. This next piece is a new one, and it's called The Vow. Our bedroom fan taps out Morse code, repeating dots, dashes, no messages from beyond the grave or ciphers stopping a sinister advance. I know this portent all too well. I must put the house in order. Sleepless electric coils hum the dots, those ellipses of unfinished whispers, while just one bent, disheveled blade marks each dash run through words my wife and I never utter in polite company. I'm still working on what bedroom gymnastics that might recall, but this next poem is acrobatics of a different kind. It recalls a close call I had while training for the Ironman Lake Placid. It's called Death Wobble. Death Wobble is what seasoned riders call it. A shimmy and shake of wheel, frame, and rider above the grit of an unforgiving pavement, that other unwanted destination. My knees pressed against the bright frame, desperate to hold a balance of metal and air, that moment, like that moment when my phone's black screen floated a message, pithy, written in your pilot speak, Roger. A terse squeeze of brakes squeezed my guts, the bike shivering like dry heaves. I'm crouching lower on the handlebars, hiding from God knows what, while an unerring blue sky listens to the final conversation of tires. Reminds me it's been years since you and I talked while cycling. My calves' muscles still twinge with those decisions of now. Your your siren red truck flinging its taunts in ghostly exhaust, knotty gravel miles west of here, its wheels whirling like the soul, perfect but not always true. I'm thankful I only experienced that issue twice. Yeah, I went back down the hill a second time to confirm it was an issue with the bike and not me. That said, outdoor activities these days they take on a lot of risk, as I explain in a new piece called um, Daily Run. Waking from sleep, I don shoes and loose bright things in those quiet hours before dawn on the dustless suburban streets. Headlights fall on useless speed bumps or ill-timed crossings of spring possums, and to balance, I have to look down, find the road's edge, maybe find a white line to cross. The car ahead may see me, slow down, move to the far side, but really, when do drivers ever give way? I'll just run faster, head high, with my own light beaming at the windscreen's glimmer and so much unseen at the wheel. These steps I must take, this run towards light, blind to the one I followed one step before, never to be left of the dark. Um, where we live, the power goes out despite living in the city. I will say this, but it goes out quite often. And so my wife and I find ourselves sitting in the dark. And as a result, I get a lot of writing done. Um, this next piece is one of those. It's called Lines Down While Watching TV News. After lightning crashes the power, tree limbs silhouette against the sky, like roads to the stars. Detoured, our clocks and fans and TV are still warm but powerless. Outside news confined to some imagination. My program ending mid-sentencing of another politician. Such is now the supposed calm inside and out, and an owl flies to a branch by the window, hoots to the uncovered quiet, our HVAC no longer muffling its concern, or some lack of security from those troubled things that the media suggests scurry our bluebells and those nameless weeds that flutter here from another yard. Although the announcers say nothing specific about these plots, I'm told that news is truth, and in this quiet vacuum, I have now control over fuel and spark, the house generator farting to life, the TV finding its channel, beginning another sentence. Sorry, I got tongue-tied with my own reading. My apologies. Um, it's kind of easy to get sucked into those worries, and it's why I run. So I should probably be running while I do these readings. Um, anyway, this is a new piece, and I'm going to butcher the form. It's a Japanese form. It's called Abyss Soshishika. It's a tanka with an extra line, and it runs a 5-7-5-7-7-7 syllabic line. It's called Runner's High. When each stride toes out, the line just before dawn is made for, excuse me. There are too few lines for me to mess it up. So I'm going to start over. My apologies. When each stride toes out, the light just before dawn is made for hard running. Mixed with stars and sunlight, it races through skin, unfurls muscles, satisfied with the present. So when past and present collide, dissonance is often heard in cultural change or in cultural change. And this is such a piece. I'm kind of glad that there's a little age in this room, so that you all kind of will understand where I'm going with this. This is called Heirloom. Tethered in a garage corner, Dad's Raleigh attracts clumps of dusty things with some static charge, like plastic clinging to a suit after dry cleaning. I'll brush off the I'll brush off the leather saddle, gummy brake covers, and this stable's stuffiness. It'll all roll up in horsehair curls the way lint and birthday speeches swirled in his coat. Wrought in 50s Kodachrome, white wall tires bulge like folds in a Budweiser belly. Joints stiff as my own, catch with each crank of a rustless chain. A hope so out of style these days that his bike will survive us both. So the next piece, I've heard some folks suggest that they're going to get a little political. So here's my political piece, and it resides in a cultural space, I believe, that impacts us all. This is called Fourth and Inches. Miles from my reach on Third and Independence, you cradled a worn leather football, all that survived years of battle in DC's green spaces. Little of those fields left, turf and soil so hard to defend against so many charging players. A quarterback rush was inevitable in every game. Some players sent scrambling, and that January day, you remained immobile, set legs firm in the pocket, shouts from all sides, help pick the moment, waiting for the hit. When it came, you went down flat on your ass, breath lost in the lights, a shout lofted towards the end zone, me watching it unfold on TV, the mad rush through a gap, your drive to close the door, lost with inches to go. Under swinging shoulders, hard elbows, a greater notion meant to end. But good games are not always lost in a single play, nor are trampled fields quick to heal. Another season's already underway. Behind the curtain, far from your hall, I mark dark football shapes by my candidate's name, and by my faith, you cannot fail. So this last piece goes back some 30 years after a cycling accident that left me with an artificial shoulder. It's written as a guzzle. It's called After the Fall. What was uncovered? Dead leaves released in each vein in fall. Each ragged cut on my hand outlines my own shortfall. Clinic curtains open, no omens in flight, crows crowd windows while a doctor pronounces another heart's fall. Dove bars and Percocets high in bed, I could lounge all year outside roots with deep patient forces sidewalks of fall. Bad road or driver, the accident report doesn't state. Won't hate local police. No one loves their own downfall. My loved country slips, a knee swells to meet the band-aid. Welcome, children, embrace me fallen, and all that must fall. So that was going to be my closing piece. I don't know whether I've read to my time, Malika.
You still have time, Rob. Keep going.
Okay. I have two short pieces. This one is called Midnight Rendezvous. It's a tanka. Frigid air, headlights, freeze a buck, breathless on the leafy carpet, your face beaming as I stand all horny by the open fridge. Newlyweds. Snowflakes unique, full of hope, like staunch vows declared with future perfect. Let's see here. Karma, modern memento mori. Wrist tattoos show a recycling logo. I think I've kind of covered all my short pieces.
You're so awesome. This has been, there's a theme that I'm seeing in the chat section. Thank you for reading. It was lovely to hear those poems that I had gotten to read ahead of time. I'm going to take you off of the spotlight so you can see everybody. And people feel free to unmute and just take a moment to thank Rob. Yeah, hold your glasses up.
It's a
That
good
was
scotch,
amazing.
Rob.
Yeah.
The theme I started to see, yes, Regina, thank you. Wonderful reading. But I think it was something Cindy said that reminded me something that I have always admired about Rob. And Cindy said something about such well-crafted poems. And I thought about one of the things that's so critical in your writing is the exacting images that you use. For example, like the plastic on the new dry cleaning. And anybody listening to you will recognize this is someone who really spent a lot of time saying exactly what they intended to say.
Yeah. I see the connection between the precision of being an athlete and the poetry and lines, because to be an athlete, and I can see what you are, and from what I read, because I always read before I log on, I like to know a little bit about the poet. And there's a what's the word I'm looking for? There is a precision about being an athlete. You have to be dedicated. You have to be focused. You have to be, you know, in a way, it's sort of like being a poet. Where you're, where you have to craft each line. Like everyone's saying, exactly what you meant to say. And I found it calming because your voice is very calming. And yet, like I said in my last comment, there were shades of death and yet life. There's I saw both in there. Like you're celebrating life while also recognizing mortality.
I think the word precision, Cindy, is so important in
Yeah.
his writing. And I think the keen mind that is observing and taking in this information and then giving us these well-wrought, these well-written,
Beautiful.
well-crafted poems is evident as we listen. It makes for a very enjoyable read, but it also makes me want to go, I've got to go look at that poem again. So I think I might have missed some of the meaning. One of the things that I love when I get to blurb a book is, of course, seeing, the poems ahead of time. That's fun. But then saying, oh, I wish I'd written that line. And I said that a lot of times with Rob's work as I read the poems. I was like, oh, I would so steal that. Does anybody else have any thoughts? I saw, that a couple of people put the same thing about the wonderful reading, powerful lines. Any questions for Rob about his process? I mean, Rob, I know that you are somebody who does edit. Could you talk a little bit about your process and then choosing forms? I think Rebecca wrote about one of the poems that was the perfect form for that poem. Maybe it was a ghazal. But can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So thank you all. I appreciate the comments. Precision and athleticism do go hand in hand, and I think that's what I like about working with forms. I tend to work with the Japanese forms primarily, but I did go on a sonnet kick for a long time. Brian heard plenty of sonnets over the months, but I think that it makes me a better editor, and it makes me think more about the concept that I'm dealing with to get into that compression mode immediately. But at the same time, I do feel like for younger writers, starting out with forms may not be the thing to do, because it can make you very self-aware. And so I do enjoy the fact that when we were with Peggy Shoemaker, Malika and I 30 some odd years ago, we really stayed away from form. It was a lot of free writing. It was trying to get the pen to paper and get that idea flowing, and then go back and editing. And I think that the approach to writing really has changed in that regard.
Well said. And boy, it's nice to hear Peggy's name. She will always be my Shiro. I adore that woman. Thank you, Rob, for kind of talking about that. And I was, curious about forms, and it's nice to see you working with them. Other thoughts or
I
compliments
think
or
Brian had a
Brian.
question.
Yeah, shoot, come on in.
I don't have a question, but I noticed that a lot of people were talking about, pointing out lines they liked, and I'm going to point out one that I liked, and Rob will get why this stuck in my head. When you said farting to life, I laughed out loud. I had to go, yeah, but that's a great poetic line.
Yeah, and Brian, I would also say that's indicative of how his mind works, moving from images that are exacting, and then also that are just honest, right, dead on, and that
Exactly.
bring us back,
And
in the moment.
and being an athlete, it's an earthy thing to do, and so bringing that into it is, I think, quite accurate and honest.
Yeah, no, I love it. Thank you for that, because that line stuck out at me too. Yeah, that's a good comment. And I do love seeing people. I think you'll have fun, Rob, when you get to see in the chat section different lines that spoke to different people. It's pretty fascinating to see, especially when the same line is several people. And any other thoughts? I'm going to put the link. If you don't already have a copy of the book, please go to Main Street Rag. Rob, if someone did want a signed copy, could they reach out to you for that?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
In fact, I'll throw my my author site into the chat.
Perfect. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll get it your email address, but that will be even better, so they can go to your author site. All right, guys. Well, then we will head towards open mic. If you have just arrived and didn't already sign up, you can just shout or send me a quick message. And now you can go to Rob's. I got you, Regina. I put you already down. I just made an assumption and a polite request. Maybe not so polite. Rebecca, I have you first for open mic.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Perfect.
Yep.
Congrats, Rob, on your excellent book. It was an honor
Thank
to
you.
read it and blurb it, and such a pleasure to hear you reading your work tonight. I have two short poems to share. The first one is about a piano piece I love to play, and the process, the history of it. The title of the piece is the title of the poem. It's in Italian, so I will throw it in the chat. And there it is. It's called Nel cor più non mi sento. I work my way backward through the variations to the theme, minding all the hands in all the professions that touched this aria first. Beethoven, taking the piss out of a lesser composer, then leaving the work unhoused. Werke ohne opus, the German and Latin teaming up to say, this never happened, we were never here. The boyfriend who recorded me performing at the piano store applauded, lied by omission. The next boy applauding more, lying flat out. Paisiello, calling his opera The Miller Woman, because who remembers a blue-collar lady's actual name? It's Raquelina. In my heart, she sings, I no longer feel. That's the title. The name lost to time soprano, starring, then going home to feed her kids. Parizotti, who collected songs like antique ticket stubs and sold them a century later. The big and small men of Middle Europe feeling their way around the ornaments for guitar and flute. You already know their names. The teacher who pushed me by the shoulder blades to learn this piece, with the exhortation, "Look down, look," to see what my pinkies were up to, and sometimes stopped the lesson to badmouth Asians. Greenberg, the Russian Jewish pianist who recorded it, died a year shy of my birth. I lack her speed, but we share the minor portion with T. Simple triple melody, like slow hopscotch, like crying while you decorate. Every time I run it back, it gets easier. I no longer feel in my heart. Well, thank you guys. I'm just now seeing the comments. I've got one more for you, and I am coming to you from Ann Arbor, Michigan, where it is not yet winter, but winter is coming for all you Game of Thrones fans. This is a poem I wrote about our northern winters and how they build character, whether we like it or not. This is called What Wrecks Houses. Still surprised by snow and ice, despite being born a Michigander, hemmed in with my own Michigas, nowhere to go. Maybe enough cold wind can mend the mind, making me look past the sleety glass. I sit in the day-long storm as if before a date or a new student, chest open, what questions? I wait to feel my absent strength again, as though resilience were a process of liquid seeping in. How is it that what wrecks houses builds us? I'm taught for a message that might not come. I don't want life to change. I don't want the way it is. Meanwhile, the weather says, play. The weather says, ask anything.
Oh.
That
Carol,
was
you come
great.
here again. You come here back
That
to
was
back with
great.
us. Thank you. That
Thank you
was
so
awesome.
much.
And make sure you check the chat section. I don't want you to miss the comments, Rebecca.
Awesome, thank you.
We meet weekly, although I'm going to take a couple of weeks off before 2026, but we'd love to have you again.
Thank you, I'd be delighted.
You remind me of Regina Spektor.
I'm told that. Yeah, thank you, I love that.
You
Take it
look
as a
like her
compliment.
and the Russian Jewish. I'm Russian Jewish too, and I'm a big fan of Regina's. And
Yes.
yeah,
That's awesome.
and you look like her, and you sound like her. You have that, I love that. I love your poems. Really
Thank you.
good poems.
We're keeping you now. That's just a done deal. Bob, I have you next.
Okay. It is shown how to build the ship, how to replace time with a different way of measuring, how the animals found then were only replicas.
Thank you, Bob. It always happens that I'm trying to type something and you go, yeah. Rob, I felt like you and Bob would hit it off. I mean, how beautiful is that freaking poem? How to replace time with a different way of measuring. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Lovely, Bob.
Always. Yeah,
Thanks.
it's fabulous. Now our open mic is always fire. If you haven't been here for that, you've been missing out. Karen, I have you next, and you do have two poems. I want you to read both of them. I know it's a political and then another tarot poem.
Let me do the one that's sort of political, and then that's
Okay,
here.
and then if you want to come back, okay.
Okay, let's do that's a good deal. Yeah, okay. So all right. So this poem I wrote a week ago today. So the 5:59 a.m. poem today. How long to dwell in the summoned hell when even the hinge of my elbow unhinges me? I stand beside myself, hoarding the secreted air, stale as a man-handled sleeve of fumbled saltines. I am a stand alone, minus my east wing, circling. Not clear for landing, this house of me, no home. As each walled painting is owning its own askew, I conjugate rue, rude, ruing. I think this house has no home. I Google the etymology of Senate, which automatically autocorrects itself, first note redundancy above, as debate, from the old French word débattre, which literally meant to beat down. It still does. At 5:59 a.m., when the weird words come creeping out from in, when you write maybe the most lost poem you've ever found.
I love that one. The most lost poem you ever found. Yep. Yep. And to beat down. Mhm.
Yep.
Check the chat section, Karen. I do want you to read that other poem, but I can come back.
Okay.
I'll bug you in a minute. Laura, I have you next.
Well, this is just short and it's new and it's probably going to change. It's called Worship. I roam the remote Michigan roads of my childhood in summer. Heat pours from black asphalt while daylilies glow orange in noon sun-soaked ditches. And now, the relief of trees. They line up like courtiers along the lane, reach for each other, fuse above the road, a nave of holy coolness in the basilica of nature. Thank you.
Oh, that is gorgeous. I love the language in that. And Michigan. What's up with the Michigan
Whoop,
theme
whoop.
here?
I'm a
buddy?
Michigan girl.
Yeah. Heat pours from
Never
black
living
Alps.
there again, but yeah.
Basilica of Nature. Gorgeous. Cal, I have you. Make sure you unmute.
There we go.
Yep.
All right. I was going to study that post that you did today, Malika, about time and space, but I got kind of waylaid and I didn't get to do it. So I picked this other science poem that I'd written before. It's called Free Lunch. A South Namibian mother counts her cow's ribs and raises maize. Flood season is coming. Some Pacific waters heat or cool, El Nino or La Nina. Or will some global climatic effect, she imagines. The hot wind-driven dust has brought drought. An old trucker told me rule number 1, gravity always works, he said. You need to learn to make it work for you. Make the depression, the dip in space-time, do it for you. Employ nanoparticles, tiny quantum bundles of energy to do it. The famous physicist said the universe is the ultimate free lunch, meaning its start, big piston bang, and that only due to impossibility of knowing what it came from and what it ends up going to. Figure of speech from not knowing. Free if you don't know where it comes from or where it goes. Planets, excuse me, planets' finite eddies get to exist. A few billion years of balance seeming to oppose the flow of everything apart. Matter forms and gathers and persists in little anomalies for short times like scattered dust. Some global effect we imagine. Top of the tall heap in the high seat, We're geniuses of balance. We've made it all work for us. But if I know anything, I know what's top heavy falls down. Here, there is no free lunch. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, what's top heavy falls down for real. And you will like that article when you get a chance. It doesn't mention the original research nor the specific
Yeah,
I
I was going to read that, and Four Quartets seemed like it might go with it. Eliot's poem.
I could see that.
I'll work on it for next week.
And Cindy had free lunch because she didn't eat any. Brian, I have you next.
Okay. I won't read an outright political poem because my political poems tend to have all the subtlety of a trip hammer. But so lately I've found myself writing about uteri, which I learned recently is the plural for uterus. And back in the days of Hippocrates, there was a diagnosis for what was wrong with women, and it was called wandering wombs. This one, my poem, is called Wandering Uteri. Mom had two. Her first uterus carried 5 boys, in turn, each rowdy, swimming the dark ocean, pushing off from her spine, backflipping around her cervix. No hurry to get out, but keeping busy, preparing her for her new life. 25 years into those 5 lives, they, the guys in white coats, told her it was worn out, tired, had enough, and had to come out. This would make her calm, less hysterical. From the Greek for uterus, hystera. To the Romans, Christians, etc., whose learned men decreed wombs were wandering around causing trouble, trying to escape the female body, and thus that body should be hung upside down and shaken, or threatened with fire, acids, and noxious scents, etc., like uterus tamers, whip and chair, and we're back to the white coats. My wife, Kay, also had 2. Her first carried 2 boys, but still she could attest to the swimming and flipping. Holding one grandson while Kay chased the other, Mom told the story of her lost uterus. And these 2 creators sat discussing birth, boys, and male hysteria. I was not privy to the conversation, but back home, I watched Kay knit their second uterus, life-size from pink yarn, complete with ovaries, fallopian tubes, and a pearl white egg perched atop. She gave it to my mother for her 80th birthday. Shocked, wordless, breathless, into tears, no doubt thinking, is this appropriate? Mom hid her second uterus in her underwear drawer. But soon it wandered out and climbed up on her bookshelf, then wandered into her studio with the sun and moonlight Mom painted in oil on canvas, and finally took up residence on her piano, listening to her play Moonlight Sonata.
Else, yes. And I'm going to wear a t-shirt that says free the uteri. Thank you, Brian.
I chose that one in part, Rebecca, because it had a piano in it.
Yes, yeah. That's freaking awesome. And we love Kay, by the way. Cindy H., I have you next.
So do I.
Are you calling on me?
Yes. Yeah, I was just about to click. Yeah, I got you next. And then last but not least,
There's
I have
another Cindy here, and I didn't wanna. Anyway, the reason I'm wearing this hoodie, as Bob will attest, it's been rainy, nasty, windy all day. really terrible weather. While we're on the subject of politics, last week I wrote a little, like an hour and a half before a reading I was going to on Zoom. I wrote a haiku, Halloween haiku, and it's political. And while I was at the reading, I was, of course, checking my emails. And I got an email from Haikuniverse, the magazine that prints haiku every day. And they did a call for submissions of Halloween haiku that they're going to run all day tomorrow. And I'm sure that mine will not be one of them, but I'll read it here. And Malika's lucky that Halloween will be passé by tomorrow so that she doesn't get a submission of this after they reject Halloween haiku. Garish and gaudy, his east wing demolition, Poe's ravens are howling.
Oh, Cindy. No, you can send that to Redheaded Stepchild. We open back up in February, but it'll probably be taken tomorrow. That's awesome.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's perfect. It combines all my favorite things. It's got Poe and ravens and a truth about the East Wing and Gaudy and
Yeah,
Garish really
sad,
work.
sad.
Yeah, agreed. Regina, I have you as our final reader.
Hi, everyone. So tomorrow is Halloween. I was asked to read a poem that was spooky and woke. So so I don't know how spooky or woke this poem is. But hopefully it will like maybe incite some thought and maybe you'll get it. I wrote it the day before I went to choir rehearsal, and so I'm back. This is a first read. September 7th, we had a blood red moon. So I decided to kind of look that up and see what kind of prophecy or omen that entails. And so there was, discussion of, it being a harbinger of the apocalypse. And then in other cases, people, the prophecy says it indicates renewal. But anyway, I took it in the direction I took it in. Blood red moon. Blood red moon shedding tears into a broken earth, salted water running like rivulets into the cracks, has tried to tell us of our shame as she looks down, horrified, calling on mercy's name, sobbing that this olden cycle, now in earnest, is turning again. Blood red moon wrapped in darkness begs for a marvelous new light from within its deeply velveted canopy that drapes the unfathomable sky. And through her luminosity, she moans a powerful why. Having seen the terror of the night, words and blades carving skin again. Blood red moon cursed the plague that covered the ball and shouted from dark heavens, musing loud enough for all to hear. Will they ever learn the way? These lands are plentiful and wide enough for all of us to make a way, despite the shadows of sin that threaten to eclipse again. Blood red moon comes most years, 2, 3, 4, sometimes less or more. With unshed tears, she arrives and perches herself spectacularly, red gold shining from an unseen by and by. She is charged by her eminence to witness for yet another time, to see if the damnable circle that flesh has determined to cut up and claim has predictably started its refrain again. 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 Thank you.
Thank you, Regina. Yeah, that image does start to shift on its meaning. I love that. Thank you. Karen, I forgot that I warned you I was going to nag you again. Can I come back and see? Can we show the card or?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. This was a two-carder poem. So this was the first card that I was writing in response to. And then this was the second half of the poem.
Wow,
Those are beautiful. Wow.
Aren't they
they
lovely?
really are.
Ah.
These are
Where
from a
can we
deck
get
called
them? Can we get like a
you
set?
can, yeah, you can get a set online. MJ Cullinane is the artist that makes she's one of my favorite deck artists. She designed the Crow Tarot that Laura turned me on to, Urban Crow Oracle cards. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna type her name in. I don't know the name of her website off the top of my head, but MJ Cullinane is the tarot and oracle card. If tarot cards aren't your thing, then she has wonderful
Oh,
oracle.
thank you, Laura. She's already ahead of us, Karen.
Oh, Laura, I should have just said. I know. That's
exactly.
She's
She's
Laura's
better than-
magical.
Just task me
Yes.
already.
Yeah, okay. That's what she does.
I love that you do that. Well, thank y'all very much for being such good company today. Rob, it was a blast to celebrate with you. And I'm so excited that you got to share a new poem. So that means that you're continuing, and I look forward to see what comes next. And everybody that read for Open Mic, thank y'all. And everybody that was here, thank you, Cindy B. It's good to see you.
Malika, we miss your beautiful face.
It's weird having a horse up, and that's my favorite horse right there, Ellie.
The horse is beautiful, but I want to see you.
Come on back in, Malika. There you are.
There you are.
Last for any length of time.
Hey,
my bandwidth isn't totally shattering. That's good. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I will turn off the computer and go to sleep, because tomorrow, first day of my new job, so I'm super excited.
I'm
be
so
working at the
excited for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I missed it. You have a
All
new
right,
band?
guys.
Oh my gosh.
I do. Yeah, I just got it. I'm going to be the library program and outreach specialist at the local community college. They have a public library, so I'll be working for the state.
Wonderful.
Super
That's
excited about the
so cool.
prospect of insurance. Yes.
Correct. Don't let them ban any
Those are-
books.
Right.
Oh, I can't wait to celebrate banned books. They're ready. I gave them, I was totally myself, and they still said, yeah, we'd love to have you join us. I thought, well, I already got a lot of good ideas for like a Memory Mondays, dementia, and their caregiver readings of works that might appeal to people of different generations. So looking forward to it. I think that's really it. Be well,
Yay.
guys. Next week. Why did I just flake on who it is next week? Oh, Robbie
Robbie
Nestor.
Nestor.
So- yeah, yep. And so
I
that will
know
be
Robbie. She's
Yeah, I
from
was gonna I thought,
California, right?
yep, I thought you did know her,
Yeah.
Cindy, and
Yeah.
we've celebrated with her before, and she, attended at different times. Yep, it's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be fun. And the cover for that I really want to hear the history of it, because it's just fabulous. All right, guys, be well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
See you
you
next
all.
week.
Appreciate it.